How's it going, everybody? Matt Delucci here for NBA Hangtime, and the NBA season is officially in the books. It was a pretty good one. I would say a lot of entertainment, a lot of great players, a lot of great plays, a lot of great teams. It pretty much had a little bit of everything. And what I want to do today is, rather than focus on the playoffs, I want to focus on the regular season. More specifically, I want to focus on the awards that will be handed out for the play during the regular season. And I'm just going to go through them pretty much with the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, Most Improved. Just going to go through the list, going to give you my picks, and rather than let the MVP hang to last, I'm going to do the MVP first because we do a little bit different here at NBA Hang Time. So starting out with the MVP, I really think it's a two-man race between Steph Curry and James Harden. And really, even between that, I think that it's Steph Curry's award to lose. He's been the best player this season in terms of best player on his own team, which is the best team in the NBA, and just best player in the NBA. What he's been able to do has been pretty incredible. The offensive production he's been able to have, the defensive strides that he's made from last year. Because of him, the Golden State Warriors are where they are right now. A couple weeks ago, if you asked me, I would have given it to James Harden probably because of the performances that he was having, but he's kind of tapered off. And we have to remember too, Steph Curry basically shot up at the beginning of the regular season. He surprised everybody with his offensive play, and now he's kind of plateaued, but he's plateaued at that really high level, so people are kind of getting used to it. That's my theory behind it, at least. But I think that Steph Curry needs to be rewarded for the performances that he's had this year. Like I said, he's probably the best player in the NBA, maybe besides for LeBron James. What he's done for his team has been pretty incredible. So give me Steph Curry for that reason. The second award that I want to go to is I want to go to Rookie of the Year. This one, there's a lot more debate, in my opinion, than a lot of the other awards that are out there right now. A lot of people are going to give it to Andrew Wiggins. I want to give it to Nikola Mirotic for this reason. Andrew Wiggins is playing on one of the worst teams in the NBA. He's averaging about 30, 35 minutes a game, and he's able to produce about 20 points a game. Now, Nikola Mirotic's stats, when you look at his stat line, aren't nearly as impressive because he's having a battle with other players to get playing time on one of the best teams in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls, who are going to be the third seed in the Eastern Conference standings in the playoffs. So he's having a battle with those guys. It's really hard for him to get minutes, but when he has gotten minutes, he's actually been pretty successful. He's had a couple 25-point games. He's had pretty close to 30-point games. He's led the Bulls in scoring a bunch of nights. He's like basically the Bulls' third scoring option. It seems like it's come down to this season. So for him to make that type of impact, especially on a Tom Thibodeau team, on a guy's team who doesn't like to use rookies, I think that that's something that really needs to be recognized. And unfortunately, he just hasn't gotten the consistent playing time that Andrew Wiggins has for people to really realize that. So while Andrew Wiggins might win the award, I think it needs to go to Nikola Mirotic and his performance throughout the course of the regular season because it's been pretty impressive. Next award, Defensive Player of the Year, and I think this one comes down to two people as well, Draymond Green and Kawhi Leonard. And unfortunately, Kawhi Leonard missed a lot of the regular season with a hand injury, so I'm giving the award to Draymond Green. And I think that he deserves it too. He's an extremely versatile player, especially defensively. He could guard anywhere from some of the point position to the center position. Really, he could guard almost any player in the NBA. He could guard any position in the NBA, and that's something that you don't see very often in the league nowadays. So for him, he needs to be rewarded for that. He's had a great season. He's the Golden State Warriors lockdown defender. If you have to throw him in a playoff series, he's going to be guarding the best wing player, possibly even the best player on each team, and he's still able to produce offensively. So his numbers, along with Steph Curry's, have really helped Golden State get to where they are with the best record in the NBA in a historic season for that franchise. So I'm going to give it to Draymond Green. Next, we're going to go to Coach of the Year. And up until, I would say, about 2 weeks ago as well, just like the MVP race, I would have given this one as a split to Mike Budenholzer and Steve Kerr. Now, taking nothing away from what Mike Budenholzer has done this season, I think that Steve Kerr deserves it outright because of what Golden State has been able to do with their historic playoff or historic regular season run. Sure, Atlanta came out. They surprised a lot of people. They went on that 27 game win streak back around December, February, January, February. But as of late, it seems like they've kind of dripped off, and that's been due to injuries, unfortunately. They're still the number one seed in the Eastern Conference by far, but I think that Golden State has been a lot more consistent. We have to remember, too, Golden State has been blowing teams out. They haven't just been winning games, they've been blowing teams out. And that's something that you don't see very often in the NBA. So for Steve Kerr's performance, I have to give him the Coach of the Year. Mike Budenholzer, very close second. I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up splitting the award, though, for what they've both been able to do throughout the regular season. And now, the second to last award, Most Improved. I'd give this one to Jimmy Butler, but I could easily see an argument being made for Rudy Gobert or Hassan Whiteside. The Most Improved award should be the player that improves the most throughout the course of the regular season. Jimmy Butler made a drastic improvement in the offseason and kind of plateaued by January, like we talked about with Steph Curry. Still at a very high level, but a lot of his improvements were made in the offseason rather than the regular season. And I think if you want to look at a player and you want to look at the most improved, you need to distinguish between, is this award just from last year, or is this award throughout the course of the regular season? If it's throughout the course of the regular season, I'm giving it to Rudy Gobert and Hassan Whiteside, but there really isn't that distinction being made. So the improvement that Jimmy Butler made in the offseason is pretty remarkable. He became the second scorer for the Chicago Bulls, so I give him that award. And finally, Rookie of the Year, or excuse me, Sixth Man of the Year. I'm giving it to Lou Williams, Isaiah Thomas in a close second. What he did with the Boston Celtics, he basically brought the Boston Celtics into the playoffs. That addition at the trade deadline was difference maker in terms of them making the playoffs. But Lou Williams has been that kind of go-to guy, that Jamal Crawford type of player. You bring him in off the bench and he's able to score a lot of points for you. Kind of a stereotypical sixth man at that point. And for that reason alone, I'm going to give him the Sixth Man of the Year award. He's been doing it throughout the course of the regular season, whereas unfortunately Isaiah Thomas started off with the Phoenix Suns and then moved over to the Boston Celtics. But Isaiah Thomas has had a great season as well. So those are my awards: Isaiah Thomas or Lou Williams for the Sixth Man, Jimmy Butler for Most Improved, Nikola Mirotic for Rookie of the Year. Give me Steph Curry as the MVP, Steve Kerr as Coach of the Year, and Draymond Green as the Defensive Player of the Year. So three Golden State guys in there. We'll see how it shakes up. But make sure to stay tuned to NBA Hangtime because we're going to have all the latest in terms of the NBA playoffs. The regular season's done, but we're going to have everything that has to do with the playoffs. So make sure to stay tuned for that. For Matt DeLuigi, appreciate you watching, and make sure to check out NBA Hangtime, your place for NBA all day, every day.